Well, to start this little demo, let's set the scene. We're currently looking at the bright star Achernar, which is at the southern end of the river constellation Eridanus. We're using an 8-inch Newtonian telescope, and the image capturing software that we're using has been set to exposures of 5 seconds at a time. Of course, it takes about 10 to 15 seconds to download each image, so that the interval between consecutive images is very roughly 20 seconds. We're currently viewing the star through the luminance filter, and of course before we start to do our focusing work, we need to make sure that we set the appropriate filter. So if we were going, for example, to image with the blue filter, then we would focus using the blue filter. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we'll stick with the luminance filter on the assumption that we're going to be imaging using that. Let's put the controller away, and now I think is the time to put on the Bahtinov mask over the front of the telescope. So I'll just go and do that. And now the mask is on, and we'll just have to wait for the next download to see the result. And there we see the typical pattern created by the Bahtinov mask, an X with a central bar placed somewhere between the two arms of the X. At the moment the central bar is off a bit to the right, and the object of the exercise is to tweak the focuser so that we bring the central bar into the middle of the X. But to help us along, we'll use the excellent software Bahtinov Grabber. At this stage, I should pay tribute to the late Mr. Niels Nordhoek, who authored this program and made it freely available for anyone to use. We should owe his memory a great debt of gratitude. Now, I'll move the window over to the top left so we can see the star, and before we start using the grabber in earnest, we should make sure that our telescope parameters are correctly set. Now, you remember I said that we're using an 8-inch telescope, so the diameter is 200 millimeters. The focal length is 800 millimeters because it's an f4 system, and the camera's pixel size is correctly set at 5.4 microns on a side. Okay, we can go ahead and use the program. So we'll click the Set Capture Area button, and we'll drag from the center of the star outwards a bit. And we now see an image within the grabber itself, and what it's telling us is that the focal point is set way off to one side to the right, and we need to tweak the focuser back so that we superimpose the red circle over the top of the blue circle at the center of the star. So I'll go over to the focuser now and start bringing it back into focus. The focuser knob has a 10:1 ratio, and so although I've given it a big turn, I don't expect I'm going to get quite as far as I should. No, it's gone about halfway, but we'll just let it settle down for the next download, and then we'll go and tweak the focuser again. It's a bit of an iterative process, this, going back between the focuser and the screen. Well, it's a little bit better, but still quite a way to go. I should mention that there's a little message here within the Grabber window saying that no, the focus is not properly set, it's not within critical focus. We're getting very close now though. I need to go and give it another tweak. And still not quite there. I'll give it another go. If you're not careful, it's only too easy to overshoot, so that the red circle ends up on the other side of the centre. We'll see how we go. Well, it's pretty close, but let's wait for another download. Yes. Well, first thing you'll see that the message now says within critical focus, yes, and the program has very kindly given us some friendly concentric yellow circles around the centre, indicating that we are within critical focus, and the red circle is just a little bit off to the right, but you'll find probably that the circle moves a little bit from left to right due to the seeing conditions out in the sky tonight. The turbulence in the air is obviously affecting the image produced by the camera, so we'll wait for another download and see. Right, I think I can just tweak it again a little bit. Well, I did. We'll see where we get to from here. I may have overdone it, we'll see. No, it looks okay to me. Alright, I usually wait for 5 consecutive positive results before I can accept that critical focus has been achieved. So this is 1, and that's the second one, and that's the third one. It's moved over to the left a little bit, but we're still within critical focus. So that's 3 down, 2 to go. That's the fourth, we're back on target. And that's the 5th, and I don't think we can get it any better than that. So I'll go and remove the mask, and we'll just minimize the Grabber program for the moment. And there we are, and you can see that the star now has very sharply defined diffraction spikes caused by the Newtonian system, and that all of the other stars are pretty much little pinpoints of light, so they all seem to be very well in focus. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating, so let's slew across to an object and see how we fare with it. Probably the Parvo globular. So I'll just call up my sky tools and I'll slew to the Parvo globular, which has already been selected.
Telescope slew into target.
I'll have to go and move the dome, rotate it round a bit.
Telescope slew complete.
And here we are at the Parvo globular. The 5-second exposure is giving a pretty insipid image, so let's add another minute to it. It'll give us a better result. 65 seconds, okay, and we'll just have to wait for that to cook. Right, that's better. Now you can see that the stars are nice little pinpoints, and we can increase the magnification scale now, and you'll see that the stars are still remaining nice little pinpoints. And what's our zoom level? Can I see here? We're at 1 to 1.5, and even at 1 to 5 we are getting nice sharp images. So I think we can safely say that the telescope is well in focus. There's another way of demonstrating how good the focusing system is. If we use an image that I already captured some time ago of the, let's say, the Gabriella Mistral Nebula. So let's turn that one up and we can examine that in more detail. Right, here's an image. It's a false color image, and it's fairly clean and crisp, but if I go to a 100% zoom ratio, as you can see, the stars are all nice little well-defined pinpoints, nice little diffraction spikes on some of the larger stars here, and bearing in mind that this is a color image and it required multiple exposures, 3 different filters all stacked together. The total exposure time was measured in some hours, and I think you can see that the telescope camera system, after focusing using the Bahtinov mask and grabber, delivers a consistently crisp image for all exposures taken. And there I think we can end this little demo.